Oh, we're live. Okay. Now I'm just gonna wait for people to show up. All right.
There's lots of people here already. They're in the chat.
Wait, what? Where's the chat? Where do you see that?
You have to open it up on your own.
You have to go to YouTube and open it.
Okay. So YouTube, open it, and then mute the video so it doesn't change in the background.
Okay.
But hello, everyone. Welcome. And then mute the video so it doesn't. Yeah, that's me. Exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Well, I'm probably gonna do it too because I still have to bring up the video, but I can't find it on my own damn channel. What was I gonna say? Oh God. Welcome to the launch party of She's Not Here. I have been so distracted that I didn't even realize I don't even have a copy of the book near me.
Nice.
It's across the room, and I'm not getting up. But welcome all. So the way today is going to work is that I have my lovely guests, and we're all going to be chatting. But I'm going to set a timer to do giveaways every 10 minutes, I think. So that way we have some talking time in between. But basically the way the giveaways are going to work is that I'm going to ask questions, and the first person to respond or respond correctly, if it's a trivia question, is the one that wins. Ooh. So I'm still working on getting the chat pulled up, and I don't know why I'm having a hard time. But you guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
We could introduce ourselves.
Yes, do that. I'm a terrible host. Do that. yourselves.
Okay, well, I'll start, I guess. Hi, everybody. My name is Natalia Lee. If you don't already know of me, I currently have 2 novels out, Highborn and Way of Spears, and my 3rd novel, Song of the Dryad, is coming out this month. Oh, Tifa's going to start talking now.
Yeah.
Can you hear him?
Yes.
Hi, Tifa.
Cute.
Okay, who wants to introduce themselves next?
Jessie does. Okay. Hey guys, I'm Jessie Eliot. I'm the author of Twisted Fate and Twisted Gift, and the novella Twisted Desire, which is coming out early next year, maybe. We'll see. I am the youngest out of all of us. I'm the baby of our author-2 family, and
Jessie.
yeah, I am super happy to be here to help celebrate the release of She's Not Here, and I'm super, super excited for Mandi and to see what comes next for her. And yeah, that's me, and I'm Canadian.
All right, Bethany, you are up.
Awesome. You know how good I am at introductions. Yes. I am Bethany Atazada, the author of Evelyn's Number, Pearl's Number, and also this random children's book called The Confident Corgi. And this is my first live ever. I'm so confused. I love it.
I can't believe this is your first live ever. Well, I hope this is the first of many.
It's fun so far. I'm so excited for you.
All right, we are starting the official timer to count down to the first giveaway. We do have some discussion topics, but since I see Bree on here, I do want to note that one of the discussion topics that came in through Instagram is how awesome she is.
That's awesome.
So yes, she's awesome. And
Bree is freaking amazing. I wish she lived closer to me because I would hang out with her every day of my life.
She lives close-ish to me, sort of, like hours. Like I think it can't be more than 2 or 3 hours. I have to imagine. But yeah, she said she's great in the comments down there. And I see some of my street team. I see Alyssa is down in the comments as well, and a few others. But let's see. Bree and I are neighbors. Bree, is that true? Are you neighbors with Brian?
What?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a joke or not.
Like house-wise or like state-wise or city-wise? I'm confused.
If it's state-wise, Bree and I are neighbors.
Yeah.
And then Brooke's at the mall buying candles while trying to participate.
Hi, Brooke.
Okay.
It's weird to be on a live without her. I don't think I've ever been on a live without Brooke.
I almost on Instagram was tagging her, and then I'm like,
yeah, it's weird.
Okay, so our first discussion question comes from Instagram. MV writes, for you, your decision to self-publish versus traditionally publish. So, does anyone want to start off?
Like why we made the decision or what?
Yeah, sorry, I should probably elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, could you add a question mark to the end of these?
So why did you decide to self-publish? Because we all self-publish. Yeah, we all self-publish. I knew that. So why did you decide to self-publish and not traditionally publish?
Who are we asking?
Are we all answering?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'll go first. So it's kind of hard to remember for me the year. It was when I was in college, which wasn't that long ago because I'm a baby. So I want to say like 2 years ago, I decided that Twisted Fate was going to be my debut, which initially I didn't think it was. I thought this YA paranormal thing was going to be. And I was preparing that YA for agents before I even knew how to really do that. And then I kind of wrote Twisted Fate and I was like, no, this is it. This is what I'm going to debut into this huge, scary world of publishing with. So I knew very quickly that I was going to self-publish for two major reasons. One is control, which I feel we all share that same reason. And the second being it is not mainstream in that new adult still scares agents and publishing houses, even though it's such a huge market in the indie world. It seems traditional publishing has to catch up a little bit in a lot of things, but new adult being one of them. So I put those two things together and I was like, it's just going to be easier for me to self-publish and it's going to be the most successful for me. So that's why I chose to self-publish those books, but that's not to say that I won't be pursuing traditional publishing with future books. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, how about Natalia?
Yeah, so I would say that definitely for a couple of reasons. One goes, like Jesse said, the control. Like I think we all really like to have control over what we're working on, especially when you spend years writing it. You want to make sure that nobody does it wrong. You don't want the ugly book cover or anything like that. And originally I thought I wanted to traditionally publish Song of the Dryad. Like that's what I was going for at first. And I realized very quickly why that wasn't going to work for this book. So, I started querying and it was just silence. And that's very normal. That's to be expected when you're querying. It's about 4 months later and I'm still like slowly getting agents responding to me. And it's just because they have so many, queries to go through that they can't physically get to them all the time. So when I realized that it could literally take years for this finished book to finally be in somebody's hands, if an agent even liked it at all, I decided that that was not the right direction for Song of the Dryad. It was finished, it was nearly ready to go, and people wanted to read it. So because I had that audience, I have this audience now, it definitely gives me a platform for self-publishing that I didn't have before. So as the audience grows, as self-publishing grows, it becomes a much more viable publishing platform, I think.
And I just want to say hi to Sabrina because I went to high school with her and I see her in the comments. Okay, and Bethany, why did you self-publish?
Sure. Okay, so I have this story, or I had this story, I should say, that was not a Christian story, but it had a Christian element. So it was like this weird, I looked at publishing houses, and if I went for like a Christian publishing house, I felt like they would tell me to make the faith like the whole story. And it's like part of the world. Like it's not, the story is big and it has other stuff and, and then the actual, like if I went traditional, like a regular publishing house, I guess you could say, I felt like they would want me to take the faith aspect out altogether. And so I kind of was like, I kind of talked to a couple people and felt it out, and I felt like there was no correct place. And then I actually ended up talking to an agent this year in July at a conference, like a writing conference, and she kind of confirmed it, that there's no bookshelf, like a physical place for my specific kind of genre blend thing. And so she was kind of confirming that, yeah, if I tried to query it, I wouldn't have had, not only would the publishers not want it, because it'd be so hard to fit into a bookstore, but then the bookstores wouldn't know what to do with it. So I was always like, well, I'll write this and I'll self-publish, but then I'll maybe traditionally publish in the future. Then, you know, once, like when you get to where all of us are and you've experienced it and you've enjoyed all the other aspects of it, like marketing is really fun and editing is okay. Like, I mean, being your own boss is awesome, you know, like all these other things are so cool. And I'm like, you know what, I think I want to keep doing it because it's amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very good point about the genre thing as well, because that's, I think, one of the biggest plus sides, because even Jesse, you touched upon that, is that you don't, like, you can write in whatever genre you want. So I'm laughing because Bree said, would it be weird if I shower while listening to you guys talk? The answer is yeah, kind of, but go for it.
That's so her. I love it. Go for it, Bree. Just don't send pictures.
Okay, what was I gonna, okay, so the reason why I self-published is just because mainly I was very young when I wrote Essence, and I spent about 3 years writing, rewriting, and querying agents. Bree says she's gonna do it. But
Bethany, she's calling you out. Oh, I miss her.
Oh God. Okay. I didn't want to wait to have my story shared, just sort of like what Natalia said. So I was like, my story's ready and I'm gonna go for it. And of course there was a lot of learning along the way. And yeah, control. I like to be able to decide when I do what I need to do. Like my deadlines are my own deadlines. If I miss them, oh well, I can make new ones. Not the case in traditional publishing. You don't get to make new ones.
I like that, the not having to wait. That's definitely a theme for me too.
Yeah, I'm not patient. Like I finished writing this book in April and I published it today. That would not happen in the traditional publishing world.
Brooke was saying, I published 2 books in 1 year. That wouldn't happen in the traditional world.
Although in the self-publishing world, it's almost required that you have to publish at such a rapid pace to like make that self-sustaining income if you're just publishing books.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is something I have yet to master. It takes me about 2 or 3 years.
Same.
So we are
teach us your ways.
So we are about 40 seconds away. So I'm just going to jump into the next giveaway so we don't get interrupted.
The next?
First.
The first?
Yes, thank you. So the first giveaway, I just have these in a random order. So it is Keeper. Actually, this is very appropriate. It's Keeper by Kim Chance. And it's appropriate because Kim just announced the publication date of Seeker, which I cannot wait to read because I got to read a chapter and I was very
so good. It's so good.
It's very good, just based off of the one chapter I read. Okay, so the way this is going to work is that whoever responds to this question the first in the comments wins the free ebook. So the question is, what is your favorite witch or wizard? So now we wait. Actually, while we wait, you guys discuss what
Someone brought up the fact that I was doing squats at Mall of America.
Ryan did. I outed you. It was Jesse.
Yeah.
Do you see a winner? It is Ryby Shaw. I think that's how you say your name. It is her. Yeah, I think that was a girl. I'm just trying to judge off the profile pictures here, but it's hard to tell because it's a couple photo. Anyways, whoever, Ryby Shaw, you won with the answer of Hermione. There's actually a lot of Hermiones in Harry Potter's. I think Sirius Black. My mom said Harry Potter, in case you're wondering. Mimi Strelevich is my mom. Okay.
Oh, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I forgot about her. Okay, so.
So, Ryby Shaw, make sure to message me, and I will get make sure you get the ebook of Keeper. Otherwise, I will find you somehow. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna reset the timer. I know I'm so graceful at this.
Where are people messaging you?
Anywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. My username is Mandi Lynn.
You should keep it all in one spot, so you only have to check one place. Just like,
I check religiously.
okay.
I go on too often because some people don't like Instagram, some people don't like Twitter. Or you could just email me, mandylynn@charter.net.
I can email you right now.
Great. There goes all the spam. So this is kind of working off the last question as well, because it was kind of like two questions in one, the person who asked it. It was struggles that we had with finishing a project. So do we want to go in the same order?
You could start, Mandi.
Yeah, you start.
We'll go backwards then.
Okay.
Struggle I had was that when I wrote She's Not Here, this is the fourth version of the story, like not fourth draft, like version, like 4 completely different stories.
Oh, wow.
The third version I had been writing, and then halfway through, I decided to change the whole plot of the book and just kept moving forward with writing instead of going backwards and fixing things. I'm like, I'm going to do it later. And I just went forward with writing, and I forgot I had changed the beginning. So when it came to like finishing the manuscript and being like, yeah, I'm done, I got so excited until I read the beginning of the book again. Then I realized I was not even close to done because I still had to rewrite the whole beginning of the book. That was my greatest struggle, was just figuring out the story that I wanted to tell.
And your mom just said that she would always interrupt you. I love that.
Mom, I did not write this book when I lived at your house for the most part. I don't think, or at least very rarely. Most of it was when I moved here. So yeah, she didn't interrupt me as much as she thinks. It was all Phil.
Sure, blame the fiance.
What? That's weird. He's my fiance now.
Yes.
Anyways, okay, Bethany, you're up.
Ah, crap. I am not ready for this one. I just struggle with, does it matter which book? Latest book, I guess?
It doesn't matter. Whatever your biggest struggle is, I guess.
I never, like, there's a lot of struggles, but when you put me on the spot, it's like, what was it? I feel like probably I'm going to say the ending, because I've talked about this before. I wrote it during NaNoWriMo and a little after. And then, like, I came back to it a month later to read and start the edits, and I was like, the ending doesn't work. The ending sucks. And it was really bad. So I literally, like, kind of chopped it in half, threw it out, and, like, rewrote a whole new ending. But the struggle was, before I figured out what the ending should be, I was like, what do I do? I don't know if I can make this any better. Maybe this is the best I can get, and it's much better now, I promise.
Now, which book was that, out of curiosity?
Pearl's Number. Yeah.
Really? See, I really like the ending of Pearl's Number.
Oh, yeah.
I have mixed emotions about the ending, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
we'll talk about this later, Bethany.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Brittany's tuned in. Hello, Brittany. Okay, I think it's Natalia who's up next. So what was your biggest struggle writing any of your stories?
I guess with Song of the Dryad. Song of the Dryad has been the hardest book that I've ever written. So there were a lot of struggles with it, but I'd say that figuring out how to like outline and plot properly so that I didn't have big like plot holes, because plot holes have always been really difficult for me. Like writing myself into a corner and then not knowing how to fix those plot holes. And, you know, by the time you finish the book, then you're tired and you don't want to have to go back and do it. But with Song of the Dryad, you know, I wrote 50,000 words. I threw 49,000 words away and started fresh. And then I wrote more words, and then I had to start fresh again. And finally, when I hit that point, the third time I started writing Song of the Dryad, I had finally figured it out. I finally had like a solid outline, all the plot holes were filled, and then I could finally move forward. So I would say definitely my biggest struggle was just learning how to actually structure a solid novel before writing it. Because I would always write first and then realize that the story wasn't really there. But with Song of the Dryad, I finally learned how to do that, thankfully.
I'm glad to see we had similar like problems.
Yeah.
All right, Jessie, what was your biggest struggle?
the one that comes to mind, I am still kind of dealing with right now, and I wasn't expecting it, and it came actually after publishing. And I guess it's hard because sequels are hard to sell, because if you haven't read the first one, you can't read the second one. And I don't know, Twisted Fate did so well that I guess, and I went into publishing my first book with no real expectations on what I wanted out of it. So I guess maybe I had like expectations for the second one that I didn't maybe acknowledge to myself. And it's not that it's doing bad, it's just I need to not compare the two because they're two different beasts, like publishing your debut and then publishing a sequel. It's hard, but I love the stories and I'm excited for the novella that's coming out. But at the same time, another struggle that goes along with that is I just want to start working on something completely new. And I already know what I'm working on and what I'm doing for NaNoWriMo. This has been coming everywhere with me.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me so happy.
And this is amazing. And I just pre-ordered the Save the Cat book for novels. Because they're coming out with, it comes out next week. And Jessica Brody, who is a young adult author, actually wrote a Save the Cat specifically for novel writing. And I am so excited to get it. So between this and that, I'm hoping that I have a plan for what I'm doing next. And I don't want to talk about it because if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be very upset. But a couple people know about it. And I'm going to stop talking because I don't know where I'm going with this.
I love it.
But yeah, all the things.
Yay. I am so with you, Natalia. This is
Yes.
Yay. Oh, I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. That's fantastic.
I'm the only one who doesn't have one. I feel like I need it because, like, I'm taking a break right now to do, like, wedding planning, obviously. So I'm like, I need to, like, get my head back on my, like, attached to my body. I'm like, well, now I'm jealous. I want to write.
So were you not planning on doing Nano originally, Mandy?
Like originally, like before the proposal, I was thinking about it. I had like a few, actually, Bethany.
Yeah.
And I have a something.
What?
I was thinking of working on.
I wonder what it could possibly be.
Shut up, Jesse.
I love it.
Fair, you were there when we were talking about it. But yes, so now I'm gonna stop talking now because I think
I'm like I can't say anything or I'll give it away.
I know because I feel like I already gave it away just by saying it.
Don't worry, guys. I'm in the dark. I don't know what they're talking about. I have no idea.
Actually, I can tell now.
You cannot whisper to just one person live, Mandy.
I will tell you after, as in after the live button.
Oh.
Okay, sounds good.
After we kick all you guys out and just hang out without you.
Oh,
We'll dish out all the secrets so you guys can't know yet.
Mark wants to know if Officer Garrett is in the secret project. I don't know, is he?
That I can't tell y'all.
maybe in the acknowledgements. I don't know.
Oh God, thank you, Officer Garrett.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyway,
I love it.
I'm gonna move on to the next question now before I. Okay, well, for NaNoWriMo, I do want to do like a little bit of something, but not a whole lot of something. Like I'm gonna treat it more like Camp NaNoWriMo more than NaNoWriMo because I don't need that type of stress in my life.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on. So this is from Peggy Wrights. It is #1 marketing tip.
Ooh.
Boy, who wants to start that one? Oh my gosh.
#1 marketing tip. I'll start, but I feel like it's very basic. But basically is that you just want to get out there. Don't wait until the book is published.
Ooh, that's good.
That's the biggest issue is that people are like, what can I market? I'm not published yet. Publish yourself because you are your brand. And just get yourself out there. That way you already have an audience when your book is published. That's what I did for Essence. I started YouTube to document my journey, and then people for whatever reason, started following along. And that was before the book was published. So then people ended up, yep, I'm going to stop talking now. So yes, that's how you get a following, and then that's how you sell books. So we are going to pause the Q&A to do our next giveaway. And this giveaway is for the Savior's Champion by Jenna Moresi. So just a reminder, if anyone's just tuning in, to win the ebook copy of this book, all you have to do is be the first person to answer the question. The first person who answers the question wins. And that question is, do you prefer big books or short books? So while we wait for the comments to roll in, what do you guys prefer?
Short.
Gosh. It depends on the book. Like, it depends on the book. Am I enjoying the book? If so, big books. If I'm not enjoying the book, then small books.
I'd say, it doesn't matter to me at all. It's got to just be a good story.
Let's see. I like to do I'll read a big book and then a short book and then big book, short, so I don't feel like I'm stuck on the same, I don't feel like it takes forever.
Yeah. Saying big books. Were they guessing what you prefer, Mandy? Right?
No, they were. I hope they were saying their own opinion.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got to be more clear on these questions. But the winner is Hannah Van Gorkum. I butcher last names. But you won an ebook copy of The Savior's Champion. Be sure to message me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or email me at mandylynn@charter.net. And I will get you that ebook to you. Okay, so we're going to reset the timer. And going back to number 1 marketing tip. So I gave mine, which was just to get out there. Who wants to give theirs?
I have one.
I guess I'll go next.
Okay, Natalia, you go.
Yeah, I guess, well, definitely what Mandy said. Like, that was the first thing that came to mind. Just, start getting out there. You know, I've had people ask me, oh, is it too early? Is it too early? And no, it's never too early. Just get out there. But I guess what I would say going along with that and getting yourself out there is being genuine and actually wanting to connect with other people. Because if all you're doing is trying to market yourself, look at me, nobody's going to want to look at you. Nobody's going to want to care about that. So care about other people, get involved in the community, talk to others, support other writers. And in turn, that will make people, want to help and support you. So be genuine, be kind, and I don't know, make friends in the community. It helps a lot.
Good.
I like that. And that's so true because you can tell when people are being fake.
Oh yeah.
So Bethany, you had something to add.
I do. Okay, so marketing's my favorite. We chat about this all the time. But I would say, especially if you're like me and you really enjoy it, or even maybe if you're just feeling overwhelmed, my favorite tip that I've gotten so far is to pick just 3. So because there's just so much, and there's so many people out there that'll be like, you need to do this to succeed. You have to do this thing. And then someone else you have to do this thing. And then just everybody's telling you that their way is the best way. And honestly, probably they all could work. But if you're dipping your toe into all of that, you're not doing any of it well. You're not getting really any forward momentum. So my favorite tip was she said, just pick 3. And it was just go all in, whether, for me, it's YouTube channel is 1. So I'm going all in, being really intentional about it, blah, blah, blah. And then when you've mastered that thing, then you can add to it and you can maybe add another 3, but basically become a master in 1 or in 3 things. So you have the focus that you can bring your whole, everything to the table and really show up for it and really do a good job. So
that's a good one. I've never heard
that.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
It's so true because it's so easy to spread yourself too thin especially when you're first starting off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess for me, one thing that I try to really make sure that I don't do is clog my feed with promo, because I was a reader and a book blogger before I was an author, and I think it's super important to talk about other things, and obviously you want to promote your friends too, but try not to just tweet buy my book Like that sort of thing. When let's talk about other things.
And then it's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, just be genuine, share things that you love, and it doesn't always have to be about writing or reading. If you really like I don't know, you're at the mall and you find something you really love and you want to talk about it and share it with people, then do that. I know like that could be opposite to what people say, like this is your business, you need to only post like curated content so people know what to expect from you, because people like repetition and they like knowing what they're getting. I tried that and I got bored with it, and I found that across all my platforms my engagement went way down when I continued to do that. So I stopped doing it and I started posting more about me and my life, and obviously my books still as well, and I'm finding that it's just making me happier, and my engagement is up significantly. So yeah, be genuine and don't clog your feed with promo.
And I think that's true because, like, even I, like, on Instagram, I was, like, putting way too much thought into it. And I found that when I tried less, I got more of a response, which was really nice.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's like if you just be you, then it delivers itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so hard. Yeah, absolutely.
So we have another question. Number one, this is also from Peggy. This is number one tip for publishing. I'm going to say self-publishing since we've all self-published.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone want to start off?
Oh, I do. I totally want to
I'm
start.
like, that's loaded questions.
I totally want to start. So my tip is actually going to be something that I've messed up on. So now you don't have to mess up on it. Is plan ahead and get everything done way before you need to. Because I decided I was going to self-publish, and then I decided, when I wanted the book to come out, and I have been rushing and rushing and rushing to try to fit everything in. So if you are self-publishing, even if you haven't even finished your first draft yet, or like when you finish that first draft, sit down and plan. Look at your calendar like a year out and start putting everything on the calendar so that when it comes down to it, you're not in my boat, like being rushed and stressed all the time because somebody, Ingram Spark, is so slow and can never get things to you on time. So plan ahead. That is my number one tip.
Always have wiggle room. That's number two.
Yes, I was just going to add that. Like, have a buffer time.
Yep.
They did the same thing, Natalia. You're not alone.
It's so painful.
I think it's really normal.
Mm-hmm.
It is. All right. Was that your number one tip, Bethany?
Number two is buffer time. Like, adding on to Natalia's. Have buffer time.
Fine. I
kind of stole yours. You technically said it first.
Well, no, I want to think of a better one because I've screwed up so many times now. Like 3 things in, you learn a lot. Okay. One thing I had to do with, I think, Essence was I actually had to change the blurb because, like, the back cover blurb was not sellable. Like, I was trying not to give away too much about the book, but it got to the point where I was being so vague about the book that people didn't know what the book was about. So, like, test market your like blurb. Like, send it by people. Be like, would you read this book? Does it sound interesting? Do you feel like you know what it's about? Because if people don't think it's interesting, you should probably write a different blurb.
That's good.
Yeah, just pass it by other people. Even like my cover, like the covers that I've been doing, I always pass by people like, does this seem like it fits the genre? Does it seem like it fits the mood? Is there anything you would change? Like, when it comes to cover design, I can't decide on my own. I talk to at least like 10 to 20 people about it.
That's good. That's really good.
And Jessie, are you the last one?
Yeah. What was the question? I don't remember.
Number one publishing tip in terms of like self-publishing.
Okay. That's a big one. I guess just, I don't want to, that's kind of like writing, but I'm just going to go with it. Whatever. It's fine. my like biggest thing is that you really stay true to yourself and stand by your choices. So like if you want to write a book about alien unicorns, then do the thing. But I guess the same goes for publishing. Like you do you, whatever's going to make you happy, like do it. This world is kind of a shit show. So you just gotta do what is going to make you happy. And that's kind of it. And don't be afraid to ask for help and use the connections that you have. And AuthorTube is such a great resource. There is so much information out there that is available to you for absolutely no money. Like in this world of people monetizing literally everything, it's incredible that we still have free resources out there, but AuthorTube is one of them. And yeah, I think it's super important to take advantage of that.
And it's so true because like the AuthorTube community wasn't there when my first 2 books came out, and it felt very like not like lonely, but it did feel like I was kind of like on my own little ship ready to crash at any minute. Whereas here it's like, okay, if something goes wrong, I have people I can vent to because they get it.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's so interesting, like being here and hanging out with you, Mandy, because before, like way before I started a YouTube channel, you were the person I watched. Like you were the one creator on YouTube that was making self-publishing content. So like the very first time we talked to each other, I was like, I was blown away, like that you knew who I was and that you were talking to me. So like, it's kind of surreal and crazy to like know you and hang out with you now because I've been watching you for so long.
Isn't it weird? Like even like I knew I had more subscribers than Jenna Moresi when she first started, and now it's like, oh, that was weird. She like like what happened? What did she do that I didn't do? Okay, so it's time for our next giveaway, and this giveaway is for a book you guys may know. It's by an author called her name is Bethany. And she wrote this book called Evelyn's Number, and we're going to give away the ebook. And so, as usual, again, for those just tuning in, to win the ebook, I'm going to ask a question, but this one is actually trivia. This one's a trivia question.
This will be fun.
So the first right answer gets the book. I have to admit, I did make it a little easy, but I didn't want it to be too hard. So the question is, what is the name of the second book in the Numbers series? Who knows? I know. I hope Bethany knows.
Nice. I love it.
All right, I have to wait and see if we have a winner coming. Oh, I see. Okay, it's Hey Jasmine.
Hi, Jess.
She's awesome, by the way, you guys should check out her channel. She wrote a song about She's Not Here, and
I
it's
saw that.
this.
So
Honestly, that made my day when I saw it. So yes, I know that's your pen name, but I can't remember your real name. But I'll call you by your pen name because we're in public. So message me, and I will get you a copy of Evelyn's Number. Or wait, yes, Evelyn's Number. I confused myself.
you got it. Pearl's number's not out yet. You can't read. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So yes.
Oh, question. So Jazz said that she actually already has it. So do you still want to send it? Do you want to take the second person? How do you want to handle that if somebody already has the book?
That's a good question. Beth,
I would say just give it to the next person.
is that okay with you, Jazz? I feel bad.
She already has it.
I think Ryan has it too.
Ryan has it too. Is it possible to do an arc of?
Ooh. Yes, but I don't know how. It depends on if you're willing to wait. Yeah.
Jazz, are you willing to wait? Jeff.
Do you have like a Kindle copy?
I'm working on figuring that out. I'm following Mandy's video, and I gotta figure that out still.
Because you could do direct to Kindle.
Yeah, I could do direct to Kindle. Ooh, that'd be cool. How's that sound,
Yeah.
Jasmine?
Wait.
Right?
Yeah. I'm waiting. It's really.
There's a delay, I think. So
There's definitely a delay.
Oh yeah, there's always a big delay. Otherwise, I think we have a few other people that would gladly take Evelyn's number.
Aw.
Okay, she said sure, she'll wait. Oh, yay. Okay, we have a winner. So still, you don't really need to message me because you'll have to wait anyways, but I won't forget. And if I do, if either of us forget, hunt us down.
Hunt us down.
Restarting the timer. We're going to move on to the next question because did we get through all the other?
Well, I have one that I would add if you want. Like, depends on the time. So I was thinking, like, my real, like, #1 self-publishing tip would actually be to really get the best cover possible. And usually that means, like, hire a professional, almost always, unless you're an actual cover designer yourself. Like, the difference, I learned this the hard way from, like, a cover that my friend and I did, and we didn't know what we were doing, versus, like, a professional cover is massive. And your cover is your #1 marketing tool, always. So that would be my biggest advice is, like, if you're going to do self-publishing, really invest in a cover.
Absolutely. And
agree 100%.
when you have a nice cover, the book sells itself.
Absolutely.
Whether what's inside is good or not, yeah.
As long as it's pretty and Instagram worthy.
Yes.
All that matters.
We should ask the everybody watching, do you guys buy books for the cover? Because I'm a total, like, I buy for covers.
I've done that too. There's books on my shelf that I bought for the covers and I never even read them. They just sit there because they're so pretty.
Yep.
It's crazy.
There's books on my shelves that I bought and I read and I hated, but I still keep it.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person where, like, I have so many books now that, like, every few months or so I'll go through and, like, get rid of and donate some books. But if it's got a pretty cover, that's staying with me.
That's awesome.
All right. So what's everyone saying? Sometimes because the cover, I definitely buy for covers. I'm totally guilty of this. I'm glad to see we're all on the same page. Okay, so the next question is from M. Mastro Petro author. I'm definitely saying that one. So she is asking favorite hobbies outside of writing, like favorite movies, favorite books. Anyone? I can start off because I got this.
Yeah.
I've got a ton of hobbies. I just don't have time to do them. So I love hiking. Actually, this is me bragging about my proposal for a second. So I love hiking. I love hiking in the White Mountains. I'm part of the 4,000 footer club, which is there's 48 mountains in New Hampshire over 4,000 feet. The goal is to hike all of them. Eventually, I even have a little passport that I get to stamp when I hike each mountain. Because of that, I asked my now fiance to propose to me on top of one of these 4,000 foot mountains. He has back issues. He does not enjoy hiking because it physically hurts him, like not leg wise, like back wise. So when we went skydiving and we were in the plane, he said, "You wanted 4,000 feet. I gave you 14,000."
I remember that. I wondered what he was talking about.
That's why I wanted to mention it, because a lot of people don't know the backstory behind that. Because, like, first of all, when he said it in the plane, I was in such shock I didn't even hear it. When he said it on the ground, I was like, "Oh my God, that's such a good line."
And what you said to him on the plane, because I watched your YouTube video, I cracked up.
You were like, sure. Like, sure, I'll marry. Sure, I'll spend the rest of my life with you.
Your attitude was kind of like, I got to do this thing. I got to jump off a plane.
I was so, like, literally my dude that I was strapped to was getting off of the plane.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, Mandy." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What?" Like, I'm so glad the whole moment is caught on film because it's, like, absolutely hilarious, because, like, that's not how I thought I would respond to our proposal. Thought there would be like happiness and tears. Instead, I was just confused because I was like, what's going on right now? I'm about to
Because you were about to jump out of a plane.
Did you like, think about it all the way down? You're like, just like, ah.
I was more just like, what just happened? Like, and I didn't even get to, like, he kept the ring. So I was like thinking, like, what does the ring look like? Like, I only got to see it really quick.
Oh no.
Because that's me. Anyway.
And thought he'd lose it, but sorry. Anyway.
Oh no, yeah, he was panicked. Like if you, in the video, he's like, I thought I was gonna drop it. Oh my god. So, yes, that's my hobby's hiking and sometimes skydiving. Apparently.
Nice. Oh yeah, the question, right?
Yeah.
What about you guys?
What was it? Oh, hobbies. Ooh, I'm pretty boring. Like I watch TV, I watch like Friends and stuff. I read, obviously.
You seem to like that Stairmaster.
Right.
No, I do not, but you know, I do. I'm into fitness now, so that's super fun. I love it. I am going to die one day doing that Stairmaster. Let it be known, and it's fine. Yeah, that's basically it. I read, write, sleep, and work out. And go to work. Sorry, I work full time, so this is in between all of that.
But that's not a hobby, right? You're like, no thanks.
Yeah.
That's not a hobby. Nice. Natalia, what about you?
Sure. Oh my gosh. I do a lot of things. Yoga is a big one for me. I practice yoga a lot. I actually wanted to be a yoga instructor for a long time, but it's a really expensive course that you have to pay for in order to be, become a certified yoga instructor. So that's something that I love, absolutely. Hiking, like Mandi said, is a big one. A thing that Greg and I are working on currently is converting a 2003 E350 cargo van into a camper van. So we've been working on that, and then I also have a little vintage trailer that was my grandfather's, and we've been working on fixing that up a little bit. So I don't know if you'd say it's a hobby that I always do, but recently we have been working on fixing up the van, kind of renovating the trailer in preparation for adventure, hopefully.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
Mm-hmm. It's been a pain. You buy a vehicle and you think everything's okay, and then you start ripping into it and you realize, no, it's not okay. A lot of things are going wrong. So frustrating, but also awesome. We've been out a couple of times in it, and we took the cats out in it, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm happy with it.
Oh my god. Are they were they good? Because I was told that you can't move cats around a lot. Because I wanted to take my cat on vacation, and I was told
Yeah, they did well. So Brooke said Natalia is a mommy to all pets. Yes, I am. But the cats did really well. As far as traveling, Mew does great because she used to travel with me back and forth from home to college when I was living away from home. Tifa didn't like the traveling part as much, but when we actually get to the campground and set up, Tifa does amazingly well. So they have their own little harnesses, and then we have cables that are attached to the van so they can't get away from us. So it's safe for them. We keep a really close eye on them, and he is extremely comfortable with wandering around, and he'll go rock climbing with Greg and go adventuring. Mew is a little bit more timid. She'll explore, but she doesn't like her harness. So when you put her harness on, sometimes she just flops over onto the ground. And she doesn't want to explore. But she's doing better, and it actually went really well because we were nervous about it, about taking the cats, and we've been working really hard to make the van quiet for them because you don't need a diesel van, with these little cats that hear so well. So that was a worry of ours, but it's going really well. So maybe you could take Moon as well.
Oh my god, I would love to. He's just such a whiner though. Honest to God, I've never had a cat before, and I'm also not a cat person. So maybe, but he does not shut up. He follows me around everywhere and just
Yep.
and throws himself on the ground because he just he needs his belly rubbed, which I heard cats don't like their bellies rubbed. So that confused me when I first got him. But he loves it. I don't know.
Our cats will definitely like claw us so bad if you give them a belly rub. Like if it's a chest rub, it's okay. If you get a little too low on the belly, no way.
Yeah, no, like he loves it. Like, God, I don't know. Every time I pet him, he just automatically goes on his back and asks for his belly to be rubbed.
He trusts you.
Depends on
He
the
loves
cat.
you a lot.
Yeah. He also plays fetch, so we have this theory that he's more of a dog than a cat. So,
I love that.
so if you ever come to my house and see Nerf darts, that's why he plays fetch with Nerf darts.
Nice. You.
Okay, so Bethany, your hobby.
I'm still trying to think of one.
Is Penny your hobby?
Is Penny? Yes, Penny is my hobby. And then I used to do a lot of music, like crazy amounts of music, but I don't have time for that. I feel like if you're self-publishing and you're taking it really seriously, there's no time.
There isn't, and it's like annoying.
Yeah. I definitely think I need to get some more hobbies, but kind of like Jessie said, Netflix. That's like every night. Unplugging from work, let's Netflix.
Oh my God. Phil makes fun of me because he's like, you don't get a lot done because you're watching Netflix at the same time. I'm like, I'm going just as fast as I would if Netflix wasn't on in the background.
I love it. That's awesome.
Okay, so I think, hold on, I gotta get the next. We've got favorite editing trick.
Ooh.
As if there are tricks.
Light it on fire.
That will solve everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, Natalia, going off what my mom said, my mom used to teach yoga at our house. She owned her own studio. It was in our basement. And she also did instructing and all that, like certifying other yoga teachers. So, literally, what she said is legit. Like, if you want help.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to learn. I mean, I want to do like in the future when I get that property that I've like talked about a million times, I want to do like goat yoga and stuff like that. So that'd be awesome.
If you do goat yoga, I will fly all the way out there.
Yeah, I'll invite you all. You can all come play with the goats.
We can have a writing retreat that starts every day off with goat yoga.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. Huh?
What is goat yoga? I'm so
Oh, so you do yoga while like in a, like the little goats would be around you. So they'll like jump up on your back and play with you. And it's typically a good way for sanctuaries to raise money because you would pay for a yoga class and then the money would go toward like a donation for them. But it's super cute too. So I'd love to do that in the future.
yes.
The wedding venue I have, they have goats and they said that they'll bring them out during the brunch. So
Oh, how fun. I love goats. They can be naughty, but I love goats.
oh yeah, they can be kind of funny.
Mhm.
So back on track, editing tips. Did anyone come up with any?
I have one.
Okay.
So a big one for me while I'm editing is to, I use Scrivener because I love organization. Like I'm a highly organized person. So when I'm editing, I have everything broken down into chapters and scenes. And then while I'm going through that, I will have a summary of every scene and then a summary of every chapter. And when I finish editing each of those, I change the color so that I know which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. And that's also a really good way to like quickly find something if you know you need to edit it, but you're not sure where it's hiding. If you have those summaries, it's super easy to click around and find exactly what you know you need to work on instead of having to like search and search and search for that, one scene in that one chapter that you can't remember. So lots of organization. That's my biggest tip.
I would say mine is not to be afraid of the delete button. Because like your book is your baby. So you get like really nitpicky about not like you don't want to delete things, but you got to delete things. So I actually have a separate Word document that if there's like a whole chapter or a whole scene that I need to delete, but I'm having a hard time, I cut and paste it into the Word document. So even though it's never going to see the light of day, I still feel like I kept it and I didn't necessarily delete it, but it's, it still improves the novel because I actually did delete it.
I love that. That's cool. And then You could technically like share those later, deleted scenes.
Deleted scenes that should never see the light of day. But if you want to watch them, like, have you ever seen the movie Deleted Scenes and you're like, that was stupid? You're like, why'd they show that? And then you're like, oh, it's a deleted scene. That's why.
Oh, interesting. Never saw that.
Oh my God. Okay, so when I was obsessed with Twilight, I would always watch the deleted scenes because, you know, I was a Twihard. I've gone to 2 conventions. I would watch the deleted scenes and be like, that was crap.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was deleted after all, so why really should it be any good?
Nice.
Anyway.
What was the question again?
Editing tip.
Okay. I have one, but I'm trying to think how I can say this and make sense. Editing. Okay, so like you guys know what a fast read through is? Do most people do like where you try to like read the whole thing really fast?
Yeah.
The big picture. So I mean, this could apply to other times too, but after I do the fast read through edit, like as I do it, I'll take notes kind of like I'll do, I don't know, on the computer, a notebook, it doesn't matter, I've done it different ways, but basically it keeps me on track, and this might be my personality, I don't know if this will work for everybody, but to cross things off as I go, like so I can see my progress. Like if I have a notebook full of editing stuff that I need to do, I'll just start like crossing them off as I go, and it helps me see like, oh, this is big picture, this is small, so I'll come back to kind of like Natalia said, it's more organized, I can see everything to do. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not making sense. I don't know. Like just crossing off the edits really helps.
I do like similar, but I use track changes, so I like write comments in the manuscript and then I just delete it later on. So that's kind of like, right?
Similar, yeah. So then you can see your progress, I guess, is where I'm going with it, is like it helps to see, oh, I am getting stuff done versus the editing, just like what's happening? Am I making any progress at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jessie?
I thought I told you guys. You thought I was joking.
Oh yeah.
Light it on fire.
Sort of. I guess I think it's important to take a break between the time that you finish your first draft before you go into editing. One, because you just wrote a book, so take a second and breathe. And two, because if you go right back into it, even though if you write chronologically, chapter 1 was the first thing you wrote, so there's been some time, you're still not in a place in your head that you can kind of separate your feelings from what you've written. Whereas like if you go back and read something that you wrote like years ago or even months ago, you can look at it and be like, that is garbage. This is what I would do differently. It's sort of the same on a gentler scale. So just give yourself some time in between edits. Be kind to yourself, but don't kid yourself. And get people you trust to read your work, because hopefully if you have critique partners or lovely writer friends like we have, you will get the two things that you need, which is constructive criticism and encouragement, because your writer friends are going to tell you if they like things, and that's always nice to hear, but they're also going to say, yo, love you to death, but this doesn't work. So here's how you could change it. Or they might not say that. They'll just say, I would consider changing it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's it, I guess.
Better than burning it.
Well, sometimes.
All right. So our next question is, this is from Natalia. This is from your Instagram now. It's Crafty Neefy. What is the most important lesson that you have learned having now published a book? I'll go first. Don't take the criticism personally. There's many times in your career that people are going to shoot you down, and it's not going to feel good, but you just got to learn to ignore it and also learn that their opinion doesn't matter. Short, sweet, done. Okay. I've had a lot of haters over the years. It's been great.
Really? So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I also my book was published in high school. So the unfortunate part is that the haters were my high schoolers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Anyways, what guys important lesson learned?
Hmm. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Wow.
We're getting deep now.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Ooh,
Should
I
I do
have
another? Oh wait, no, Natalia. She knows her.
This will kind of be like a woo one, but I would say like the main thing I've learned after having published a novel is that I can publish a novel. I think for so many years I wanted so badly to like call myself a writer and to be able to publish books, but I couldn't finish anything. And like I know how horrible that feels when all you want is to have like one book out there, but you feel like you're never going to be able to achieve it. But when I published my first book, I taught myself that I could. And then when that doubt was no longer there, I was able to do it over and over and over again. So, it's just like learning and proving to myself that I was capable and that I could do it. And, for those of you out there that are in the same boat and want so badly just to finish, a first draft or to finally edit that manuscript that's been sitting in your drawer for years, like know that you can do it. And then once you've done it, it becomes a little bit easier every time. And, there's always going to be struggles. Like I said, Song of the Dryad is the hardest book I've ever written, but I knew that I could do it because I've proved it to myself in the past. So that's probably like the biggest thing that I learned from publishing my first book.
I like that. And also, like, usually the harder the book is, it's not because you're getting worse at it, it's because you're getting better and you're pushing yourself more.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
If the book is easy to write, then make it harder to write.
Yeah.
Make it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was the question again? I already forgot.
Wasn't it about
lesson learned? Okay. Bethany or Jesse, one of you.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Oh wait. Biggest lesson,
Yeah.
I guess. Oh.
On this lovely journey of being author, what have you learned?
I guess frig.
I've got one if you want to think about it.
Yeah, you go. You take it away.
Okay. So mine, I don't know. I hesitated to say it because it's not super encouraging, but it should be. It will be. Like, hear me out. So I don't know why, but I kind of just had this picture. It wasn't even conscious. It was sort of like a subconscious thing that, once I write the book and get it out there, everything will be good. Done deal. And it's not that way. Like almost no author is like a one-hit wonder where first book, sells 1 million copies. Like every author, traditionally or self-published, has this gradual climb to like grow their author platform and grow as a writer, and I don't know, just everything. So I guess my lesson learned is it takes more than one book. It just takes more than one book, and it's okay. And like the most encouraging thing that I've learned is like you should be enjoying the journey anyway. You shouldn't be doing it to like reach some goal, if that makes sense. You should be doing it because you love doing it. So my number one lesson, I guess, is that I've been learning to like find the joy in just doing this thing that I want to do. I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, well, it totally does. Because, like, first of all, people think that once you publish the book, it'll sell itself. It doesn't.
Yeah. Nope.
It's a hard journey, and it's not always the most rewarding journey. So you have to love it. Otherwise, you're just gonna like make yourself hate it.
Yeah, exactly. So true.
Yes.
Right. You guys had such good answers. So, biggest lesson learned. I want to go off of what Bethany said because lately, I don't want to talk about this.
Do it.
Lately, like, I've had to remind myself, like, yeah, you wrote 2 books and, well, you didn't write and publish them in 2 years, or words. I understand you guys, it's been a long day. Okay. Yeah, like, I published 2 books in a year, but that's only 2 books. Like, it's amazing, but 2 is a small number. And I kind of just have to chill out. Because I'm so impatient, I'm just like, I just want to publish more. I want more books out. I want my name on more books. And because I look at my bookshelf and I look at my favorite author, which is Jennifer L. Armentrout, and she literally has a whole shelf on my bookshelf, and they're like stacked all the way up. There's books behind them. And I'm just like, I want that. I want to have a ton of books. And
I can relate. I relate.
Yeah, I kind of just need to remind myself to slow down and enjoy the process, because I'm getting ahead of myself here. And I think I'm more focused. I'm getting too focused on the outcome of writing and what happens after I hit publish than the
actual writing.
And that's why a couple of weeks ago, I've started saying to my friends, my writer friends, because I don't usually talk about writing to my friends who don't write. I really don't give a crap what happens after I publish, because after that, it's out of my hands. You're either going to buy my books or you're not. I can't force you to open your wallet and give me your money. So I really just want to pull back and focus on what I love, which is drafting novels. And it's hard because we're taught that we always need to be marketing ourselves, and this is a business, and I get it. But sometimes I don't want to tweet, hey, my book's on sale, or I don't want to post on Instagram about a teaser for what's coming next.
I never want to. I never want to do that. I feel you.
I wish and I hope that one day I'll be in a position where I can hire a separate person to do all of that for me. But at this point, it's all on me, and that's fine because I'm just starting out. I'm in my first year of being a published author. And Bethany, you and I talked a little bit about that in the collab that we filmed. But yeah, I'm just I need to chill and pull back from some of that sort of stuff and just stop focusing so much on the business part of writing and get back to what I love so much about writing, which is creating stories and relationships between characters and that kind of stuff. And I'm loving all the Canada love in the comments.
Yes. Oh, I relate to that so much. Like you're saying exactly how I feel.
Well, Jody said she's ordering my book on Friday when she picks up Kim's at Barnes & Noble. Yeah, you can order at Barnes & Noble. It's just not.
Buy Mandy's book and Jess's book.
Buy all the books.
We totally twinned there. No, but was it you, Bethany, who was talking on, I think it was Instagram, you were saying the like pressure as a self-published author to just write book after book after book. And it gets to the point where you stop enjoying it. Like, even, people are already asking, like, what are you writing next? I'm like, I don't know. I need to breathe. I'm still, like, in publication mode. Like, I don't have the time and energy to write a book while publishing a book. And that's partially due to the fact that I work in marketing. So when I market, like, my brain gets, like, really excited. Not to say that the same doesn't happen when I'm writing a book, but, like, I can't turn off the marketing part sometimes, and it like sucks me into a little bubble. And then I just like stress myself out so much that I end up hating the whole process. And it got to the point where I've been putting my dear fiance through so much that he was like, can you like hold back on the book writing thing? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, you like stressed yourself out way too much for this last one. I'm like, that's very true. Mm-hmm. So there's this thing called compromise where you take a breather and you take your time with the writing and the publishing so you actually enjoy the process. Mm-hmm. And it's also the pressure of, to make it as a self-published author, you have to write X amount of books a year and you have to do this and that and that and that to make all this money. And then you're like, well, did I start doing it for the money or did I start doing it because I loved it? And hopefully the answer is the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you make such a good point. Like I was hearing, all these voices from different authors saying, either one book is fine or like you need 50 books. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but that's what it feels like.
But you're not, because there's the Facebook group, 20 books to 50K. Like there are people who write 20 books a year, which is just madness.
Yeah, and it's like the one thing that I know for sure is you got to do what works for you. Because, like you said, Mandy, that's way too stressful for me. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I realized my stopwatch has been at like 4 minutes for a while now. So we're over to the giveaway.
let's do it.
So this is another book you may know, except no one has read it yet, except a few beta readers, as far as I'm aware. The author's last name is well, actually, I can't say your last name without saying the first. Natalia Lee, because I don't know why, but I'm like, maybe it's Lay. I'm like, why am I blanking on this all of a sudden? So, a gentle reminder, the winner is whoever answers this question first. And the question is, what is your favorite fairy novel? And it's cheating if you're Song of the Dryad because you haven't read it yet.
Oh, what a
But
great
it's not
question.
cheating if you say Twisted Fate.
Ooh.
I'm kidding, guys.
Well, let's see who wins. Let's see what the winning favorite is. Natalia, what's your favorite fairy novel?
So I am reading Twisted Fate right now, and I'm really enjoying it. But for like an older fairy novel that I've read, I would say Wicked Lovely.
Really?
Has anybody read that before?
I have it on my shelf, but I haven't read it yet.
It's really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I think about it all the time still. I read it years and years and years ago, but Wicked Lovely was really good.
So the winner was Sabrina, my high school buddy, and
Hi, Sabrina. I hope you enjoy it.
I hope so too. So just a note on that, Sabrina, is that this is she doesn't quite have the ebook ready for you, but when she does, coming your way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay,
I'm actually reading The Cruel Prince next.
Everyone's saying The Cruel Prince. I haven't read The Cruel Prince yet. And
me either. Oh, I have a question. I have a question for Jessie.
Before both my critique partner and Kim murder me, because I also have an arc of The Wicked King that I have to read before January. So I need to just get on it and read.
We'll see.
Send it to me.
Well, and Jessie, like, you know, we're both writing about fairies, and our fairies are very different. But, like, I haven't read any of those books because I don't want to, like, take somebody else's ideas of fairies and then, like, put it into my own book. So even though I really want to read those, I haven't read any of them. So I want to, like, finish my book and be really secure in it before I read somebody else's.
No, I absolutely get that for sure. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, see, like, I'll admit, I like I'm not like a fairy person, and it wasn't I shouldn't even say that. I've only ever read one book that had any fairies in it, and it wasn't even a book, it was like an anthology. And I just hate anthologies in general. Like I need a novel.
Sorry. I'm laughing at that for reasons. But
I know the reasons, okay? And so I hate reading anthologies.
Okay.
Because well, it depends on the anthology. I'm not going. Okay, I'm
moving on.
Well, I couldn't get into the fairies, but then I read Jessie's novel, and I was like, I wonder what kind of fairies this is gonna be. And
sexy one. That's
sorry.
Is that what you said?
What?
Sexy ones. I think, is that what you said, Jessie?
Yeah.
They were definitely. Mm-hmm.
I've only read like 2 fairy books too, and it was Jessie's and Cruel Prince. And I gotta say, Jessie's are my favorite.
And now I'm curious because just based off of your synopsis, Natalia, I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be very different. So now I get each end of the spectrum. Because I've always wondered like what the like defined like typical fairy is. Because you know how like there's the typical vampire, and then there's like that weird vampire that's like, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because like the fairies I'm writing about, like I love the sexy fairies, those are fun too, but the ones I'm writing about are more based off of like Celtic folklore and like Gaelic folklore. I wonder if you can say Gaelic. I think that's just the language, but like Irish folklore. So I did a lot of research going into it. So it's definitely very different from most of the fairy novels I've read in the past, but I hope people enjoy it. Fingers crossed.
I'm so excited to read it.
Yay! Oh, that makes me happy. Yeah, because none of you guys have read it yet.
No.
Nope, but I didn't
big
know
old secret.
I didn't know that was like a genre. I'm so excited to read it now. What are
Yay.
fairy books? Like,
Oh, I can't wait for this book to be out there. I'm so ready.
I gotta assume there's like a ton of fairy books out there. Because I didn't even know The Cruel Prince was a fairy novel until people just started commenting just now. I'm like, oh, so that's the genre. I just knew it was a book that everyone's been talking about.
for sure.
Kim's going to feed her children. She's going to hop back on after. How long does the live stream go? Well, I guess as long as people keep watching.
And it's got, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books to give away.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I think I'm going to speed it up a little bit because we're going to be here all night.
Like another giveaway now?
Do we want to do another giveaway?
You sure?
Let's do another giveaway because it's the same genre because it's also a fairy novel. You may also know the author. Would you like to introduce herself?
Who could it be?
I don't know. We'll see you're not talking, so no one can see you right now. And she's holding up the book and everything, so we're going to be doing a giveaway of an ebook, Twisted Fate. That way, you can read the first book in the series and then read the second book, Twisted Gift, which I've read. It's fabulous, by the way. So, I love this question that I created. So whoever answers the question first and answers it correctly will win an ebook copy of Twisted Gift. And that is, what writing retreat did Jessie co-create with Evie Driver?
Nice.
Natalia, can you win?
She's like,
No.
on my keyboard.
No.
Oh, I could totally send you a copy of Twisted Fate.
It's okay. I already.
You could read the one that is on your bookshelf. Yeah.
All right. Brooke, do you already have a copy of Twisted Fate, though? Because otherwise... Oh, wait. No. Brooke, you didn't win. Sorry.
What's happening?
Sorry, Brooke.
I missed it because Brooke was the first one to say it as a full name, but Jody said Wander. So she just kind of filled in the blank, Wander Writers Retreat, because I said which writing retreat, and she was like Wander. So
Yeah.
Jody,
Well, technically, Natalia won, but
technically Natalia cheated.
how did she cheat?
Look at her dancing over there. That's how she cheated.
I'm very competitive. I like winning things.
Okay.
All right, Jody, message me and we'll get you your copy.
Poor Brooke. She's like, what?
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. We'll give us another 5 minutes before we do the next giveaway. So our next topic of choice.
Oh my God, it's Penny.
Hi, Penny.
Oh, this will be a great one to talk about. Expectations versus reality when self-publishing.
Oh my gosh, I need something different in this cup for this conversation.
Who wants to go first?
Really?
Oh my gosh, Phil.
Yeah, isn't he kind of creepy?
Oh my gosh, you scared me. That's awesome.
There's stairs right there, so that's kind of why he's
Creeping.
yeah.
Hello.
God, I swear if he drags me down. There he goes.
I'm literally hanging on the railing.
I know. Very strong. Oh God. So one time I did a live stream and he gave me what looked like an alcoholic beverage.
It's your release day. You can have whatever you want.
I actually don't want to. You want to get me anything?
Anything.
Give me something.
Are you guys gonna go out tonight after? Are you gonna go celebrate?
Kidding me? It's like 7:30 right now.
Nice.
No, but we should probably do that eventually. Go out and celebrate. Oh.
All the comments are Penny and Phil.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Our sponsor today is Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Rosé.
Sponsored.
Oh, sorry. This is not. I still want this video. I still want this video monetized. Okay. What was the question?
I don't know.
Expectations versus reality of self-pub.
I am not doing that. That's disgusting.
What? Why? This is a jello shot.
I'm sorry.
I feel like we kind of answered this question already in the last one. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Do you want a different question, or do you guys feel like you have anything to add?
No, I feel like I could add something to this. I mean, it's probably not like super happy. I think it's probably depressing. You know, it's like you expect to self-publish a novel and like all these people are just going to magically flock to you and buy everything and love it. But it's way, way, way harder than that. You know, like I published 2 books before I even really started on like an author platform. And I probably sold like 5 copies in like 2 years. So like author platform is super important and I didn't realize that. So expected to sell hundreds of copies in the first month. That did not ever happen.
Well, even like, especially even though you have 2 books out that are out right now, and same with me, even though I have 2 books that are already out and have been out, I don't sell a whole lot of copies of them because they're old news. Like,
Yeah, same here. Definitely. I'm not selling that many of those, you know, the old books, especially because I wasn't even really on social media when I like published them. So I think like just generally there's not as much excitement for those older books because people didn't get to like see your journey with them.
And it's also, I think traditional books even have a 2-year lifetime.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the shelf life is 2 years, and it's like not that high of numbers even for traditional publishing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Because there's so much like new stuff coming into bookstores so rapidly these days, they lose the shelf space a lot quicker. Like if it's not selling, they're not giving them the time to really sell much longer if they've been sitting there without any real movement for a while.
Right.
And I follow Susan Dennard on Twitter, and she had like this whole like little whatchamacallit thing. A whole like when it's tweet after tweet after tweet.
I know what you're talking about. What is that called?
It's a thread.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. She had a Twitter thread about how it kind of makes her sad that when she goes into bookstores now that she isn't selling enough to actually have her books in the bookstore. And she was like, "Oh, I know that's as a traditionally published author, I'm lucky to even have my books in bookstores, but that doesn't make it any less heartbreaking." And that's a totally valid point because there does come that point in your career where you're like, "This is not." Like my career, like things are starting to go downhill because you got that crescendo when you publish, and then the I don't know what it's called when you
Big crescendo.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a while. And I see Evie has joined us. Hello, Evie.
That's one of the things that I'm scared of is relevance, like losing relevance. So I think that's like probably why my initial goal after I decided on a publishing date for Twisted Gift was that I wanted to publish 2 books a year. Now with this new thing I have sort of in the works or what I'm considering, I don't know how viable that will be, but I don't know. I'm just scared that one day like it's just gonna stop. Like either I'm gonna run out of ideas or like what I want to write isn't selling. And as much as I want to say like that's not important, it's expensive to self-publish. And I kind of like I've said this since I published Twisted Fate. I'll be happy with my sales or whatever so long as I have enough money to publish the next book.
Yeah, because like I just released my publishing cost video, and honestly, sometimes the worst part of doing the publishing costs YouTube videos is just adding up everything and realizing, yeah, that's why Phil didn't watch that video. Yeah. But hi, Meg. I see that Meg Writerly has joined us, and it is indeed. Phil says hi. This is why I keep him locked up sometimes. So now it's time for our next giveaway. It is so quick question: how long is this going on for? I have no idea until we're done. So we're giving away an ebook copy of The Elysian Prophecy by Vivian Reese. So to win, you have to be the first one to answer this question. And the question is, what is your favorite dark fantasy novel? What about you guys?
I don't think I've ever read one.
Really?
What makes a novel dark? Like I don't. I'm still confused on that.
I like to say anything. Well, I don't like. I feel like it's a very loose genre.
Yeah.
So, like, our winner is Casey Gibbons. She says TSC. That's a dark fantasy.
I knew that. I knew people were going to say that.
That is a freaking good novel too. But
So good.
my personal favorite is "I Am Mercy" by Mandi Lynn.
Nice.
Is Shadowcrown dark fantasy?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And technically, I actually need to change because, like, I Am Mercy, I sell it as a historical fantasy, but it's also dark fantasy, which is why my loving mother said she liked it, but she didn't like it as much as Essence because of how dark it is. So thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I was going to say that I didn't realize that it was a dark fantasy.
Yeah, it's like I need to change the way it's like genre wise on like Kindle and all that. But yeah, it takes place during the Black Plague. There's a lot of death, and as my mom says in the comment, very dark.
Okay, so who won this?
It was Casey Gibson. So Casey, you win a copy of The Elysian Prophecy, which, by the way, is a dark fantasy. I think I was trying to I was looking the way she had it categorized in Kindle, and it did have dark fantasy as one of them. I know sometimes it can be kind of funky and it chooses your categories for you.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is a dark fantasy. Now that you say it. Oh,
Yeah. There was one scene I read it. I'm like, oh my god, Vivian. Anyways, no spoilers. But yes, so
Bye, Brooke.
Bye, Brooke.
Oh, bye.
So Casey, be sure to message me and I will get you that ebook copy, and we are gonna move on into our next topic. Was there anything else people wanted to talk about? Expectations versus reality.
I'm good.
It's all dark and depressing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, here's a good one. So this is from Shiva. She writes, finding your voice through literature. So I don't know if this means writing or reading literature. I have to assume reading literature, and I feel like that'd be really fun to talk about.
What's
I was
this?
guessing that it was writing, like finding your writing voice, but maybe not, because she did say literature.
Yeah, I would say answer whichever way you would like to.
Like
I can answer for for the writing, I guess.
Yeah,
And that would just be for me, like, for many years, I tried to have somebody else's voice. You know, like I would read Laini Taylor. She's one of my very favorite authors, and she has a very unique voice, like very flowery, beautiful prose. And I love it a lot, but I don't write that way. And I tried so hard to like make myself try to write like somebody else, because I thought, oh, you know, this is good writing. This is how I have to write. This is how I have to sound. But I can never sound like that. You know, I will never sound like anybody else other than myself. So finding my voice through writing was just coming to terms with the fact that I have to love the way I write, because I'm never going to write like somebody else. You know, each of us has a unique voice, and you can certainly learn from other people, but you can't, you know, force yourself to copy their voice in hopes of writing better.
Mm-hmm. That's because I was the same way with Lori House Anderson. So she's like almost poetic. Vivian, we just gave away your book. Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
By the way, can you confirm that it's a dark fantasy?
Or correct, Mandy.
Yeah, either way, just let me know. What was I saying? I get so distracted. I'm like my mom. Okay, yes, I loved Lori House Anderson's writing style. She was very poetic, And I almost did that. Like I did a lot of that in Essence and I Am Mercy and like got compliments for it. But it's funny because like my writing style has changed so much with the third book. In the third book, I wasn't worried about being all flowery and pretty and poetic. I was just like, I'm just going to tell the story and make people question what's going to happen. And I feel like I did that. We'll find out.
Definitely. I didn't see it coming.
I know. I love that text that you sent me. I was like, yes, yes.
You warned me and everything.
It's like it's funny because like as the author of the book, you can never tell if you've like given a successful plot twist because like in your head you're like, it's of course that's gonna happen. Duh. Like how could it happen any other way? But like as the reader who has no clue what's going to happen, you never know if they could see it coming or not.
Yep, for sure.
I forget what was the question?
I don't know. You have it.
Finding your voice through literature.
Oh,
Yeah. So I kind of answered it. Natalia answered it. It's time for Jessie or Bethany to answer it.
I am responding to a comment, so y'all, Bethany, you can go.
And I would like to point out that Vivian did indeed confirm that as dark fantasy. You're welcome.
Okay, fine.
That would have been really awkward if I got that wrong.
Like finding your voice, like generally, like I've never totally figured out what that means, finding your voice.
Maybe you haven't found it yet.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm still looking.
Maybe she's not here yet.
She's not here. What?
The amount of puns I did not anticipate with this book title. But like even I'm having like a private release party at my house and my parents' house and someone commented like, will she be there?
I love it. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I have an answer to this. I feel like I don't really pay attention sometimes when I learn things and then I'm like I get to the end of it, if that makes sense. And I'm like, how did I get here? I don't even know. Like I kind of forget the struggle, if that makes sense. Because it's like I don't want to remember that. So wipe it. It's gone.
Well, you are saved by the bell because we have to do another giveaway.
Oh, good.
Oh, Mandy. Before you do the next giveaway, I think Jody needs help with your email. Did you see that?
Okay. No, I didn't, but it's mandylynn@charter.net, or if you just go to my website and fill out the contact form, you can do that as well. I hope that helps.
I told her she could email me directly if that was easier, but yeah, if she can.
That works too. Yeah, because she won the Twisted Fate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so either me or Jessie, whoever you feel like bothering.
You're not bothering us. We love to hear from you guys.
Okay, so the next giveaway is Shadow Crown by Kristen Martin. So again, another reminder: whoever answers the question first wins the ebook. So the question is, you've got a few different answers that you could choose from, and that is, name another book written by Kristen Martin, and go. This is always awkward when we can't talk about the answer.
Yeah, because we can't give this one away.
Gotta love the lag. Alpha Drive. Okay, that's Peyton Weber. So Peyton Weber, you have won your ebook copy of Shadow Crown. All right, so message me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or email me through my website, and I will get you your ebook. Everyone's saying Alpha Drive.
That was her first book.
That's true.
Yeah. Somebody's asking you how you feel now that how do you feel on the day your first book was published? Like back in the.
Ooh.
That's a good question. Because how many years have you been published now?
Me?
Yeah.
5.
Wow, so cool.
Oh, that makes me feel like an old lady.
You're so funny.
Like,
Talking to 30
years on book 3. I'm very fast.
No, you are though. You are.
I blame college. Okay, so feeling wise, I don't know. I was just like so excited. Like Essence was the most exciting book launch. Not to say that the other books weren't excited, but I Am Mercy, there was a lot of flops because I was in college and I was stressed. And She's Not Here, it's like, I don't know, I kind of had to rebuild myself after I graduated college because I, couldn't keep up with it when I was in college. But for Essence, I don't know about you guys, but for the debut novel, I feel like it's the most exciting because everyone's like super excited for you. Like we had a release party at my parents' house and I sold 80 copies, like at a book signing, a private book signing.
That's so cool.
I felt famous.
Yeah.
Legit. I was like, I am amazing.
Yeah. That's so cool.
And it's like the worst part about that is that every time I have a book signing after that and it doesn't go like I don't sell 80 copies, it's not as exciting. So there's that downside. But there was nothing more exciting than that because it didn't feel like I was a self-published author because there was just so much support. But then like when you publish more books after that, and again, I don't know if the experience was different with you guys, but then like, oh, she published a second novel. Okay, whatever. But like for the first book, everyone wants the first book at least. So yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
What about you guys?
I think you nailed it. Like you never, like you always kind of compare to the release, but the release is the biggest. Like I don't know have the right word for that, but it's as big as it's gonna get usually.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and it feels great.
You only have one debut novel.
Yeah.
So it's really
Well, it's funny that you say that, Mandy, because I'm actually going through this thing where when I released my debut novel, nobody was there to care about the debut Highborn. So even though Song of the Dryad is my third novel, it very much feels like a debut for me. Like,
yeah. This is like your first big release.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the first book I'm putting out that people are like aware of it coming out. So for me, I'm super pumped because this feels like my first true book release. So I can't really answer the question because this I feel is my first real one. But yeah, it's funny that you said that because even though this is my third book, it kind of feels like the first one to me.
That's cool though, because like now you've got like the whoopsies behind you. And
yes.
I know, like what was it? Brittany Wang, she lives close by, so she came over to my house this past weekend, and when she was like, we were talking about collab videos, she's like, what about biggest mistakes? I'm like, don't worry. I've talked a whole lot about my biggest mistakes. But yeah, so I feel like you've got like this huge advantage because you've got all this experience already, and now you're doing this third book, which is like more so like a first book.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I don't know, that's really exciting.
It is. I can't wait.
And what about you, Jessie? How'd that debut novel feel?
I mean, it's special in its own way because I did have so much support from so many people, and I went into it with no expectations. So of course it was freaking amazing, and it was one of the best days of my life. This whole year really has been like the best year of my life. So 2019's got a lot of work to do to top it, but it's just such like, it's just an incredible feeling, almost one that you can't really describe until and you can't really understand it until you've experienced it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what's been up. Like, this is going like off of my personal life as well, but like, I sat back, I'm like, 2018 isn't even like close to being done yet, and it's already like blown me away. Yeah. Like, I can't handle this level. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna be like on New Year's Eve, but I'm probably gonna be an emotional mess.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Did everyone answer?
Yeah, we had another good question here. Meg wants to know how supportive are our family and friends, like after we publish the debut, and do we notice a difference? It's a good question. It's a good question.
Well, let's start.
Not me.
My mom's in the chat section.
You can't say anything bad.
Supportive, obviously. If she's here, that's very supportive.
Yes, but she's also, Mom, I love you dearly. You're very blunt. You are, like I said, she let me know that she did not like I Am Mercy because she thought it was too dark. Thanks, Mom. And she also has very opinionated opinions for cover designs as well.
Nice.
But that's a surprise. Something that's happened.
Yeah. I
What?
have a weird thing to say that you made me think of. So with Pearl's number, my parents both proofread for me. You guys have to do this. You're doing it. And then my mom's really great, and my dad gives me the book back, and his main feedback is, he's like, it's definitely for girls.
Oh.
Because I added more romance. Like, everybody's wanting more romance, and I was planning on more anyway, so it's a lot more fun. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, it's definitely for girls.
Oh, God. Such a boy.
Yeah.
And Meg, I'm glad I'm not the only one who has a mom that doesn't like my book.
My mom hasn't read my books.
My mom hasn't. Well, I can understand your mom. I've read your books. That's why I don't write like steamy romance. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she did, Jessie. I thought she was like, and you had a page marked that she couldn't read.
I did, yeah, but she didn't. She hasn't read them.
Okay.
At all. Which, like, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah. My hubby hasn't read mine either. Don't worry. It's like, it's hard for family members to read it, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think that, there's ways for our families to support us other than reading, our work.
Yeah.
Because, like my mom has definitely read my work, and my dad has read it. But my sister hasn't read my work, and Greg hasn't read my work. But even though, they haven't read it, they still support me in everything else that I do. Yeah. They help me film, they help to promote me, they help to encourage me all the time. So, you might have family members that are not readers, they're not interested in reading, but they still love you and support you and want to see you succeed and be, very successful in everything that you do. So, personally, my whole family has been so supportive, and everybody plays a different part for me. So like my dad, for example, he likes talking business. Absolutely. When I was trying to decide between traditional or self-publishing, we would have conversations for hours and hours, over the kitchen table, trying to figure out what was going to work best for me. And that's a really big way that he supports me, is talking to me about stuff like that. Greg, he's here every single day when I'm, cursing Ingram Spark and so angry and frustrated. And he takes all of that in and helps me. And, everybody can be so supportive, but always in their own way.
I like that. And I especially like all the comments that are going on right now, because Phil has not read my books, any of my books, because he's dyslexic. He hates reading, hates reading with a passion. And you'd think we wouldn't get along, but it works out perfectly because we don't get into fights about which book was better. I always win because I'm the only one who read it. But I just just because they don't read the book doesn't mean they're not supportive. Phil's always there to tell me when I need a nap.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times this week that has actually happened where I've come home and he looks at me, he's like, "You look like you need a nap." And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." He's like, "You need to take a nap." I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, go take a nap. I'm like, okay.
I'm just laughing at what Kim is saying about Jim.
Oh, the villain?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That's awesome.
Wait, Jessie, have you met Jim? Because you have, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is he like the master?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. I've never met him yet. You have.
I can see how Kim says that I think she said that he has to, well, he doesn't have to, he approves the dialogue. I can kind of see in some of the comments and the jabs he got in at her while I was at their house that, yeah. But no, he seems very nice from what I know.
But he's not evil.
Now I'm going to stop talking because this is making me uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, it's time for a giveaway, and we're gonna do Megan Tennett's book, and I think, yes, she's in the comments. Hi, Megan. So we're gonna do an ebook giveaway of Alethea. I honest to God, I think that's how you say it, right?
Is it Alethea?
I thought it was Alethea.
I'm bad at reading.
I don't know.
I'm so bad at pronouncing things. It's terrible. You would never know I'm a writer, or that I'm okay with public speaking. Okay, so we're doing Alethea. I got this right this time. Second version. Okay, I got it right. I got it wrong the first time. Okay, so to win this ebook, you have to be the first one to answer this question. And this is going to be a harder question. What is your favorite world building tip?
Ooh.
I know you guys are going to have to think on this one.
It's going to be a short tip, too, to win.
What about you guys? Favorite world building
I
tip?
hate world building, so I'm going to veto my answer.
I have one. This is so like condensed, but world building is all in the details. That's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go really detailed, that's what makes it feel real.
Let's see. I think
Do we have a winner?
I think so. I think Peggy Spencer is the first one. She said cover the 5 senses.
I love that.
I wouldn't have even thought of it.
Oh my gosh, Meg, is that supposed to be dumping? I love it. Yes, it is. I like info dunking.
Well, at least it didn't like autocorrect to ducking.
Oh,
you know how many times I've had to. Never mind.
What are you writing about in your novels?
As if you don't know.
I don't know if you saw it earlier, but my mom said that she read your book, and now I feel like I need to have a conversation with her.
Wait, she said she read it? I thought she said she would read it.
Maybe I have to call her after this anyways.
Yeah, she said, I'll read Jesse's book, so you better lend it to her, Mandy.
Lend it. She has to buy it.
Nice.
How is that supporting the author if I lent her the book?
Well, if she leaves a review on Amazon and Goodreads, that'd be great.
Okay. She's pretty good at leaving reviews too. So, and she's not mean. I promise. Oh, okay. She says she hasn't read it, but she wants to read it. Okay, Mom. Let's see.
I love it.
We'll see about that. Okay. All right. We've got one more giveaway, but we're gonna wait a little bit. Do we have hold on, I have another. No, I don't. Sorry. I'm reading off of Natalia's, and the other question I have was how much do you love your sister?
My sister said that.
Yes.
I do have
Very much.
yes, and Peggy, you do just message me either wherever is easiest for you, but I will get you that ebook. Sorry, I'm forgetting now. So I did get one through Facebook on the AuthorTube Facebook group. What was it? Subplot tips.
Oh goodness.
Bye.
I would
Plot your novel. Outline your whole novel.
Well, yeah, that. And, like, don't forget your secondary characters because, like, a lot of the time people will like your secondary characters more than your main characters, which, like, is kind of, it depends on how you're viewing it, if that's cool with you or not. But I think, like, they need to have a reason to be there, and it doesn't necessarily always need to revolve around your main character. Like, they have their own story, too. And Kim is leaving. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
I can't speaker.
I wanted to go off of what Jesse was saying just now about the side characters. What I learned how to do was I used to add a new side character for everything that I needed, and then I had way too many side characters, and nobody really cared about any of them. So I had to learn how to take a very limited number of side characters and make them do all the jobs. So one thing for me is making sure that each side character appears at least 2 times. They have to appear multiple times. They can't just pop in to do something special and then vanish. So that's definitely something that helped me with subplots, is making sure that I was tying all the characters together instead of just always introducing somebody new.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would also say, like, I mean, this goes for any type of writing, but still don't info dump on the subplots. Just because you feel like you need to get a subplot in there, don't just plop it all in one place and move on. Like, sprinkle it.
Mm-hmm.
More enjoyable. Bethany?
I gotta be real honest here. I don't know if I have subplots. I still haven't figured them out. They're not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly. I don't know.
I think that's almost a good thing. Like when they happen naturally, I feel like that's good, and then you can like intentionally build off of it. Because I know when I when I was in my English classes and we would like dissect books, and I remember The Great Gatsby where we were dissecting, and they're like, the glasses are the eyes of God, and the lantern is green because it symbolizes this. And someone turned to me because they were like, "You're a writer. Is that legit? Do writers do that on purpose?" I'm like, 9 times out of 10 on accident.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's such an accident half the time. Yeah.
It's a happy accident, but it's an accident.
And that's why beta readers are so awesome, because like every time I've had beta readers, they're like, "Ooh, does this mean this?" And I'm like, "Well, it does now."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because there is such thing as trying too hard, and then it's a little too much.
For sure.
I think Evie's heading off.
Baby.
But bye. Call me tomorrow. I miss you.
Okay, so there was I think that was it. Does anyone else have more questions in the comments?
I have seen a lot while we've been chatting.
I know. I feel bad because I saw them a lot at the beginning.
It looks like Meg's hopping off too.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Meg.
let's do the last giveaway, and then if there's more questions, we'll keep chatting. But we'll do the
Yes,
last
that's good.
giveaway now. So
You could like send your questions now if we didn't.
yes, so send in your questions now, and I'll just scroll back and we can go through them. But the giveaway, the final chance to win, is When Stars Burn Out by Anna Vera. And I learned a fun fact about her books, is that she makes her books a complete sentence.
Mm.
So
Titles, you mean?
yeah, the titles together are a sentence. If I could just remember her new book.
A Dark Sky Opens.
Yes. So together it's When Stars Burn Out, A Dark Sky Opens.
What?
Boom.
That's so cool.
And I noticed it as well. I just finished listening to the audiobooks for the Darkest Mind series. And I noticed, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but if you take all the Darkest Mind books and plop them all together, it also makes a complete sentence.
Oh my gosh.
Like the darkest minds
Spooky.
never fade into the afterlight or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. So, yeah. Anyways, back to the giveaway. The first person to answer this wins an ebook of When Stars Burn Out. And the question is, what is your favorite dystopian novel? What is your guys' favorite?
Hunger Games.
Okay, I was going to say that too. I'm like, Hunger Games was like, it was still, again, one of those like first books, like one of the first like few books that I read and like totally fell head over heels in love for. And I see a lot of Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So,
I don't like dystopian all that much, but I did recently just finish a certain dystopian novel that I thoroughly enjoyed, and it happens to be coming out very soon.
is
Right.
it that someone in this live stream with us?
Weird.
Be awkward if it wasn't, eh?
Yeah, actually.
Yes.
Oh,
It,
that moment of,
I
I hate
really enjoyed
dystopians.
Crossover. It was so good.
Love you, Jesse. Love you guys.
The winner was Allison F. Herring. So congratulations, Allison. You won the last ebook giveaway. So to claim your prize, just be sure to message me wherever is convenient and email me, and we'll get you that dystopian novel for you. Ooh, 1984. That's like on my to read list.
Is that George Orwell?
Yeah, I need to read that.
Totally have
Would-
it. I haven't read it.
Would a
Is
Handmaid's Tale count?
what's that? Handmaid's
Handmaid's Tale.
I've never read it, so I don't
I'd
really
say
know.
so.
Yeah, I read it. I read it when I was in college. That was a serious book.
Really? In
To
college?
work through.
It's been out that long?
Yeah, I read it. I read it my senior year of college. That was like 3 years ago. I don't know when it came out though.
I don't either. I feel like there was this hype that came out recently, and that's when I read it.
Yeah. Another that's not dystopian, so it's not really on topic. I just thought of I was like, oh, we're talking about old novels. I'm like, Algernon is amazing.
Really?
Oh my god. Oh, that was actually one of the books I read to research. She's not here because it's like kind of sort of same concept where they were doing experiments. For those who don't know, Flowers for Algernon is about a man who is I don't know the politically correct version, but he's mentally retarded. I'm sorry if that's not politically correct because I'm blanking right now. But they're scientists and they do these experiments on him to improve his IQ. And they do the experiment first on a mouse, and the mouse is named Algernon. And he befriends the little mouse. And as he's getting smarter and smarter, he's realizing he can finally see how much people are making fun of him because he's stupid. And then he becomes so freakishly smart that he gets like way above everyone else. It's a really good book. But I read it because it's like medical experiments and had something to do with like the theme for She's Not Here. But it's such a good book. And
Does the mouse die?
Hannah says that it made her cry.
spoiler, Natalia. Even though the title kind of reveals it, it's a spoiler.
Okay. I mean, I've never read it because I've heard it's sad.
Don't read
Yeah.
it.
Let anyone else sway you, Jesse. It's
Well, if it's gonna upset her, then she shouldn't read it.
Agreed. If that mouse dies, I don't want to read it.
Oh my gosh. Does anybody else I only read a crying book. It's a rare crying book. That's not a thing. But you know what I mean? Like kind of a drama or something that's gonna end sad. I tend to pick books personally with happy endings. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm. Happy
You-
endings.
Happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I read Colleen Hoover, so
Is that not a happy ending? Well, I don't know.
usually, but sometimes not in the way that you would consider it to be. No, it's not always happy.
Ooh, interesting.
I love when books have unhappy endings.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, I'm okay with unhappy stuff, but if it's truly sad stuff, personally, just looking at the world, I can get sad just watching the news or being aware of what's going on every day. So that's why I turn to stories to lift me up, because the world can be such a sad place. So that's why I tend to go for happy endings and feel good stuff. I don't need any more sadness.
I find myself doing that too. Even just that's why I love sci-fi and fantasy, because it's
Mm-hmm.
it's another separate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally get it.
Definitely.
I have a hard time having books making me cry, so when they do, I feel real happy. I feel real happy about it because I feel like that means it was a really good book.
Mm-hmm. They're successful.
The first book, if I remember correctly, that made me cry was Mockingjay, and it was the stupidest scene. It's not the scene that would probably make everyone else cry.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I absolutely remember what it was. I'm trying to word it without it.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
It's been out long enough. Just say it.
So it's spoiler warning. It's not the scene where Prim dies. It's the scene where she comes back to District 12 and sees the cat and yells at the cat. I bawled my eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes you feel any better, anytime that Dawn commercial comes on where they clean all the oil off the ducks,
Mm-hmm.
I cry.
Really?
Yeah.
All commercials, not the in the arms of the.
Oh gosh.
No, I turn those off. I can't.
Oh, those are awful. They they're tear jerking.
Yeah.
We have some good questions, by the way.
Oh, do we? I'm sorry.
I'll read them to you.
Cool.
I don't even know where to start, but I guess one here is, what's your favorite setting to use in your writing? And they're asking Mandi specifically.
Okay, that I love writing scenes in nature, which made this third novel extra difficult because it was the part in a hospital. So that wasn't as fun because I really like to describe things in nature, the texture, the everything. In a hospital, everything is clean and sterile. It's not as exciting to describe.
Yeah.
So that's
You did a good
my
job,
answer.
though. Fellow hospital worker, I was like, that's very accurate. Yeah. Any tips on how to pick a good pen name?
Oh yes, that was in there earlier. Okay, does someone else want to start to answer?
I don't have a pen name.
I know that Alexa Dunn, I think, made a really good video about pen names.
Oh yeah.
You could definitely check out. I always like to, if it's something that I haven't talked about, I like to tell you guys about other places where you can find the info. But I do know that Alexa Dunn did a really good video on pen names and how to pick them. And that, what's her name? Joanna Penn may have done one as well.
Yeah, because she I think
She's like a few different ones.
yeah, because depending on the genre she writes in, which is very like traditional publisher-esque, but she's so huge that she can pull that off easily. Yeah. So I picked my pen name because, well, Mandy's my first name, and my last name is Polish, and it's 11 letters long with only like 2 vowels. So it didn't make sense to use that as my name because no one knows how to say it. No one knows how to spell it. How the heck am I going to show up on Google or anything? Right. Lynn is my middle name, and it sounded great. So I went for it. That's all I got.
Yeah, and people in the comments are saying that Kate Kavanaugh did a video as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I've watched that one yet. I don't think I've watched her pen name video yet.
Yeah, I know. I see
Simpson's here. Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
What was I going to say? I wish I'd gone with a pen name. Hindsight, whatever. But because I work in the legal field, I really, really wish I'd gone with a pen name. I mean, Jessie is not the name on my driver's license, but Eliot is my last name. I think if I were to, I don't know, if I ever decide to like publish something totally different, I'm like, I know what pen name I would use. But,
and how did you choose that pen name?
Yeah.
I looked at other authors and how they made their pen names.
I feel like it's funny because everyone's like, how do you choose a pen name? I'm like, I don't know. Mandi Lynn sounded good. It was also partially my name already, so I was used to it. Yeah. It worked.
And then Sydney had a really good question too. If you guys feel open to answering it.
Okay. So is this hers? So I had a question, and it's a financial question that might be a bit too personal. But have you made enough profits from your self-published books to cover what you spent publishing / marketing them? I'm comfortable.
Me too.
Okay. So I've made enough with the first 2 books to cover the first 2 books. Obviously, She's Not Here just came out, so I'm in the minuses right now. Obviously, but as with anything that you publish or invest in, you need to give it time. I think it's like I would like to say I would like to make it back within a year or 2 years, but as with any business, you continually invest. So like I plan on going to BookCon this year, so that's another chunk of money. And so you take in, you spend what you can take in. You try not to go in the negative. But I'm happy to report that I'm only in the negative right now just because I literally just published a book today.
Yeah, and for mine, it's pretty easy to answer because for Highborn and Way of Spears, I really didn't spend like hardly any money on those. And that's because I really, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have money to spend. I did not pay for an editor for those books. I didn't have the money to do that. So I wasn't in the hole very far. So as far as those 2 books, I definitely made my money back because I hardly spent anything on them. So it was really easy to do. With Song of the Dryad, I have no idea what's going to happen. I hope I can make the money back. but I've certainly spent a significant amount on it, which I do plan on talking about in a video eventually, but it would be amazing if I could make the money back, but I don't know. But for the first 2, yes, because I barely spent anything on them.
I'm just looking at Phoebe. So cute.
Oh, hi, kitty.
Aww. I mean, I can kind of, it's a hard question to answer.
Well, you're still early in your career. Like, even you, Jesse, I don't even know, like, because you got to give it time. Like, it's not going to, like, I think people think that within, like, the first month, they're going to be able to, like, break even. And that's not the truth. Sometimes it takes a lot of time. Sometimes it could be a year till you break even.
And I did a weird way.
Yeah, and I remember for my first 2 books, a lot of my sales were like in-person book signings, which is really strange, but I made it like a goal to do a book signing every month.
That's cool.
Yeah, so and you make more if you do book signings at like vendor fairs or flea markets, because then the bookstore isn't taking money. So you just have to pay to print and ship the books.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So my answer would be, okay, so I'm just weird. Like, I did a Kickstarter. And if you guys know anything about Kickstarter, it's like not a fundraising platform, because it's not that. People think it is, but I see it more as pre-sales, but you can add other gifts. You can add things to it. So like with Kickstarter, if you don't meet your goal, they give everybody their money back, which I think is super cool. So when I was publishing, I was like, I want to sell 100 books for sure, or I'm not going to pursue self-publishing. So I had done Kickstarter, sold 100 books. So it's like pre-sales to me, except not on Amazon. And then they got to buy a bunch of other fun stuff like magnets and notebooks and posters and mugs and whatever. And so I did all that. And I hadn't spent much on my first book. I mean, I do want to do a video on this, but I only spent editing and the cover. And so it was like $600 total, not even. So I made it all back and more, but it's a weird situation. Like, it was like Mandi said, normally you're not going to see income until after the publishing date. You're going to like do all this spending, and then after you publish, that's when you start making it back. So typically you won't make it all back right away. It'll take a while, but in my case, I made it all back and then some before I published, but it was a weird scenario, if that makes sense. I don't know.
No, it totally makes sense. And I think that's the harsh reality that turns a lot of people away when it comes to self-publishing, because it is an investment. So it's just a matter of, do you want to invest?
Yeah, and then how much do you want to invest? Like, that's a whole nother question, because
it's risky too. It's not just, you're not guaranteed to make that money back.
Yep. So it's like, you got to find your balance. You got to be really smart financially. And like, yeah, the more that you invest, if you're doing wise investments, probably the more you'll see, what am I trying to say? The more you'll see
a return on your investment.
There we go. That's the word. I can speak. And so, yeah, it's like, I definitely have more return as I put more in, but you have to find that balance for you, and you can't do somebody else's balance. You got to find what works for you.
Like when I did my my updated self-publishing costs for She's Not Here, like, disclaimer every 5 seconds, this is what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
It does not mean you need to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, and even with our second, third, fourth, I'm sure fifth, sixth book, it'll still be a learning curve. Like, we'll probably each time be like, well, I think I'll do this differently.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
The publishing process for none of my books have been the same in terms of the publishing process.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of experimenting and figuring out what doesn't work.
That's good. Yeah. Your mom says that she's got to go.
Yes, we've all been saying bye in the comments.
I didn't catch that.
So Jamie says, in deciding whether to self-publish. Sorry, it's thundering.
Oh no.
In deciding whether to self-publish or traditional publish, would you suggest trying to traditional publish first, like sending out queries or whatnot? So I personally, I don't know what you guys have to say. I always try to say to traditional publish first, Even if you don't really want to. I like it because it forces you to wait on your novel. It forces you to learn how to pitch your novel, and it forces you to just take a step back and kind of see it from a publisher's point of view. Because once you can kind of see how you can sell your novel to an agent, you can figure out how to sell your novel to anyone. So I tried to traditionally publish Essence, and I learned a lot in the production process. And then after I Mercy was published, I actually tried to traditionally publish it. Got a nibble, then it didn't work out. But I think it's a great learning process to get, even if you don't get any feedback or if you get a little bit of feedback from an agent, just that time. And I know everyone's going to be impatient when it comes to your first novel, but you really do need to take your time with your first novel to try your best not to make the least mistakes possible.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I think that you make a lot of great points there. My only concern with that is people viewing self-publishing as I wasn't good enough for traditional publishing, so I'll just do this instead. I think that self-publishing both need to be a active decision. You're not saying, oh, I'm going to query an agent, and if it doesn't work out, well, I've got self-publishing to fall back on.
Right. Yeah, because even like traditional publishing wasn't even a consideration for me for She's Not Here. And I think that's when you really start to like realize this is what I want to do. And I think you really need to review all the facts. I mean, you should really poke around on both sides of the pond to really figure out what you want to do. But yeah, what about you guys?
Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts on it. So many. I mean, it took me so long to decide what to do. Like over a year, I was really going back and forth and back and forth. And then almost as soon as I started querying, I knew it wasn't right for me. And, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. So number one is do your research, especially now that AuthorTube is out there and so many people talk about it. You know, traditional authors talk about why traditional works for them. Self-publishers talk about why self works for them. So definitely do your research on it. But for me, I think it got to a point where, you know, I was sending out queries and there was nothing. Nothing was coming back. And like I said, you know, earlier on, that's very normal. You can't really expect to get all this interest right away, and queries take a long time. But you know, I realized that I didn't want to have to wait for somebody else to tell me, okay, I'm interested in it. Because really it takes, you know, one person, it takes that agent being personally interested in that one thing that you're writing about. And that agent is out there for you. Like, I do believe that. I believe that there's an agent out there for everybody, but it's just a question of how many years might it take to find that person. And, you know, that's like, you know, you did mention, Mandi, that, you know, impatience isn't a good thing, and I agree. Like, you definitely need to take your time with your book because it's huge. Like, all the effort you've put into it, you don't want to rush it, you know, and just rush it out there. You really want to do good work. But the point that I was at, I knew that I didn't want to sit around for 3 years for some random agent to find me and say, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I'll try this, you know. But I also had an audience. So that really went into this decision as well. If you have no audience, it's a little harder.
Yeah, that's very true. Because if you have an audience, like here on YouTube, you feel more compelled, and you know, you feel like you could do it, and you can. Like, you know, and I think it was Rebecca said, you know, self-publishing is like being a business owner, and it absolutely is.
Yeah. Especially
if you start your own publishing house, because then you're literally legally a business owner.
Yep.
So there's a lot of that goes into the decision-making process.
And I think you have to know like two things. You have to know what you really, really, really want in the end. You have to know and acknowledge like what you're truly hoping to get out of the whole publishing, which direction you go. And then you have to know what, I guess you could say, what goes into it, what you're going to have to put in. Because I had somebody ask me this just like yesterday or the day before, and they were like, you know, maybe I should have tried traditionally publishing. I really wanted it, but so-and-so told me to just give self-publishing a try. And I was like, no, actually, I mean, I have strong feelings about this. If you know that you know that you know that you want it to be traditionally published, don't give up. And like on the flip side, like Jesse said, if you are like self-publishing is so valid and it's so awesome and there's so much awesomeness to it. Like if you know that you can run a business, that you have marketing skills, that you have the ability to learn, then don't be scared of it. Don't be like, oh, I can't do that. Like, know what you want. Like if you want to be on shelves everywhere, that's a good sign you need traditional publishing, most likely, although it's possible, you know. And like if you're scared of like the computer and you don't want to touch it, don't do self-publishing, because there's a lot of crap you got to do on the computer.
And then there's also something that I'd like to add that Bethany just reminded me of, and this is kind of going off a little bit, but just with traditional is also be very realistic about what traditional publishing means, because you can't look at the unicorn publishers or the unicorn authors and say, this is what traditional publishing gives me, because that's just not the case. You know, walk into any library, look at the hundreds and thousands of traditional published books and all the names that you don't know. Yeah. So being traditional published, you can become that unicorn, but it's not promised. And that's something I had to realize. You know, it's like, oh, just because maybe I get traditionally published doesn't mean that HarperCollins is going to make me their #1 author. You know, so you have to be realistic about what that means as well.
And you also have to be like realistic about your expectations of your publisher, because just because you have a publisher doesn't mean you're not going to be doing marketing. Because I think that's the biggest misconception, is that people think that once you have a traditional publisher, you just sit back and you're like, you don't have to do anything. That is like the opposite of the truth. Unless you are destined to be a New York Times bestseller and you're going to be that unicorn, your publisher is going to expect most of the marketing on you. Like they want you to do all the online stuff. So honest to God, there's no way to avoid like social media marketing and stuff like that. If you want to publish a book and you want to be successful, you have to do it either way. It's just a matter of, are you going to do everything else after that?
Right.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to make a decision. Don't take it lightly, because like Natalia said, there's pros and cons to both. Like there's a lot of good stuff to both sides. So it's really hard, but it's good to invest the time in it.
I see a few people talking about starting an LLC, I personally have an LLC. I have an LLC for my books, but also for business, because I do like a few marketing consults on the side and other random stuff. I do have a video on it, so if you want to check that out, you can. I think I saw Kate Kavanaugh has one as well, and it looks like Megan from Cloud Kitten Chronicles is going to have one, so be sure to check out all those channels.
But it's not that hard to do. I mean, go to, what is it, the state
Secretary
of State. Yes, Secretary of State, and like every state's different. It was $150 in Minnesota to start a business. Done.
Dang, $150? It was only $50 here.
Really?
I had to pay like $200.
Dang.
I've heard $300 in some states, so I thought I had it good, but $50.
And whatever you guys do not use LegalZoom. Use LegalZoom as a crutch. Do not pay for their services if you don't have to.
Yeah, right.
It's actually freakishly easy to do it through the state secretary's site, that I don't know why people pay so much for LegalZoom to do it.
You get scared. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, and they scare you.
I mean, I work for lawyers, and I work for lawyers who practice corporate, so I could get it done. But in Canada, it's different. So we register a business name. I practice real estate, so, well, currently, but I'm not super into corporate. But so in Canada, like I said, you register a business name. They search it to make sure that it's not used. And then you go about incorporating if you're going to like do a corporation. So I don't know if it means in the States it's LLC, the limited liability corporation. Okay.
And then there's like S Corp and something else. What is it?
There's also,
I remember.
is it sole proprietorship?
Yeah, sole proprietor.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Peggy Spencer might be asking.
Yeah.
Is the difference between an LLC and doing business as? Doing business as is like sole proprietorship.
Mhm.
Please don't quote me on this. As far as I'm aware, if you are an author and you're investing money, but you haven't legally filed anything, you're just automatically a sole proprietor when it comes to taxes, even if you don't like consider yourself that. I think that's what I mean. All I know is that LLC means I paid a fee. I have a business. I put everything under that business umbrella. That's about as far as my legal knowledge goes.
But I would say I just want to add one thing, because I don't know, this is why I've never done a video on it, because, well, it's really easy, but also I don't know that I would recommend it. Like, if you're gonna have your own business, know why you're having it. Like, don't just do it because everybody else is doing it. Like, I have very specific reasons for doing it that all lead up to, you know, I need it for this, this, and this, and it all leads up to my book signings. So, and a couple other things. But if you don't even know why you need it, don't do it.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I was just like, I don't think if I did my LLC just for the sake of publishing my books, I'm not sure if I would do it. But I'm doing it because I have a whole like master plan.
Master plan.
I don't plan as of right now. I don't plan on publishing other people's books. But like anything I do that makes money, like AuthorTube Academy, the marketing consults. Every now and then I help someone. I have a friend who needs help publishing her own book, so she pays me and blah blah blah. I keep that all under Stone Ridge Books just so it's easier tax wise.
Yep. A lot of it's for taxes for me too.
Yeah. I don't know how it's different state to state, but so for Canada, you don't even have to, like, I guess, claim income tax as a business until you've reached like a threshold of profit. So
I don't know if it's the same for business. I know it's like that in terms of like a job, because I used to have a part-time job where I didn't meet the threshold, so I never had to pay taxes. I don't know how it works for businesses though.
I imagine it would be similar, because if you're not even breaking even, they're not going to make you pay taxes on what you've earned.
Right. I hope so. You never know.
But yeah, I know I didn't have to for 2017 I wasn't published.
So you didn't have to pay taxes then.
Right. 2018 I won't have to.
I'm really bad with taxes, but if I'm saying right, like our tax guy was basically, he was encouraging me, how do I say this? He was encouraging me to think of expenses like gas and random stuff, because he was like up to a certain
Write it all off.
Yeah,
As
up
long
to a certain point you write it up. Exactly. Like
Yeah.
you have to make a lot before you start paying.
I love talking legal stuff with you guys.
So
We
great.
could be like boring the hell out of the bunch of people that are still
Also,
here.
those people are like legitimately talking, like asking questions, and I have no idea how to answer it because I'm just not. I know enough to get by,
Yeah.
and I really don't want to steer people in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. That's why I'm like, I probably won't ever do a video on this. I'm not an expert at all.
And my reason for hesitating is like, if I end up going the traditional route for future books, like it's kind of going to be irrelevant. Not like, I think I'll always self-publish, but I don't know the number of novels I'll self-publish, so I don't even know.
You'll be hybrid published, right?
Yeah.
I think that's honestly the best option because, like, I consider myself hybrid published because I have an anthology where my stories featured.
Even though you hate anthologies, I'm
You know
sorry.
what? It's my story's in there, so I love it. But no, there's a lot of people that hybrid publish, and I think that's awesome because, like, when you can get the traditional published book out there, you can, but then you know that no matter what, even if you can't find a publisher that suits you, you can always just publish it yourself.
Yeah. And I think that'll help later on down the road, like as my audience grows. Hopefully, fingers crossed, people like me. But yeah, I don't know if there's more to say to that.
Was there any other questions, or should we sign off?
We end on taxes. This is fun.
These days, we're talking about taxes.
We should end with something like, I don't know, Mandy, what are you planning to do now that you're free as a bird and it's out in the world?
And my wedding.
Can I bring my mom?
Is your mom gonna buy my book?
Oh my gosh.
Have them for sale at your wedding?
Are you gonna judge me?
No. I'll bring a few of mine to stick on the table.
I just found what my what's the little gifts that you send everyone home with?
Oh,
Party favors?
Yeah, party favors. They're not gonna be my books, they're gonna be your books, and you're gonna be donating them, right?
How many people are going to be at this wedding?
About 100. Can you donate 100 books? Just
Could probably donate like 10.
okay. But how like it's a wedding, you write steamy romance.
Perfect.
You don't have a wedding budget?
What?
You don't have a wedding budget?
I don't think I think I'd get yelled at if I used it to buy books. I do, but it's actually like
That's
a lot tighter than I thought it would be, and I thought it would be like, you know, weddings are expensive, guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they are.
Realizing that, I'm like, dang. And we got like a really good deal on our venue too. So
Since we're talking about it, I mean, it's not book advice, but some advice. Do what you want to do, not what other people want you to do.
oh, don't worry. I've been ignoring everyone. No, like my parents were like, because I wanted to have a wedding in New Hampshire. Obviously, I was like, I didn't get my proposal on the mountain. I'm gonna get married on the mountain.
Oh,
That didn't happen. My dad was like, no one's gonna drive that far, and your guests are the people that are paying for your gifts. So the farther it is, the less gifts you get. I'm like, well, that's but at the end of the day, they convinced me to a place that's closer. But I still like it.
Super important question for you.
Yes.
Open bar?
Cash bar. I'm not paying for you.
Ah!
No, and it's not because of you. It's because of Phil's friends.
Oh, fine.
Nice.
All right, that's fair.
Okay, so I'm going to sign this off. And thank you all for tuning in. I don't even know how long we've been live now.
I don't either.
2.5 hours.
For real?
That's a record. I hope you guys were entertained. All right, well, thank you all for watching. Be sure to order She's Not Here and then fill out the form so you can get your free signed book plate, an AuthorTube Academy coupon, and enter. And you'll also get an entry to win a custom book sleeve, 2 candles, and a custom bookmark. Gosh darn it, that is a mouthful. And then also be sure to check out these ladies' books because they also have books coming out. Jessie just had her book coming out. Jessie just had her book come out. Talia has her book coming out this month, to be determined. It's not yet officially released or announced, I should say. And then Bethany, your book is out in November?
Yep. We're all book buddies.
Yay!
I love it. Okay, so thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe to everyone and just share the love.
Share the love.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, buddy.
See.